Hello, and you are listening to the Book Was Better podcast, the podcast where we talk about the book of the film. I'm Luke.
I'm Courtney.
And this week we're talking about Tron Legacy.
Hey you, put down the popcorn and turn on the light. It's gonna be alright, my friend. In the end, take my hand and trust me, the book was better.
Holy crap, here we are. We have left our physical forms. We have uploaded ourselves onto the grid.
Yes.
You and I, a couple of Trons,
Yes.
just in the virtual world, ready to just worm into people's ear holes and talk about this film, which I believe is particularly close to your heart.
Yeah, this is honestly one of my top 10 films. I love Tron Legacy so much. I've seen it. I don't even know how many times. It's just so cool.
You've seen it 00011001101 times.
Yes. Except if you started with a 1 at the beginning, not a 0.
Yeah, imagine I did.
Yeah.
And I want everybody to pretend that I'm a lot smarter about this stuff than I actually am.
Yeah. So, there's the costumes by Michael Wilkinson, that are really awesome.
Yes.
And that's all practical effects, by the way. All the lights and everything, all those costumes you see, was what was on. That was.
Isn't that a little against the theme, though? Shouldn't it be digital? If there was a chance to do things digitally, isn't Tron the time to do it?
That's the ironic thing, is Tron is a franchise that you'd think, oh, it's all, digital effects. Original one, computer animation wasn't quite there yet, so it's all traditional there's traditional animation where they can get away with it, or it's people in actual physical costumes.
They drew some lights on some grey sweatpants.
Basically,
yeah.
it's just a lycra suit with some tape on it.
Bike helmet.
And Tron Legacy has practical costumes, a lot of practical sets as well. But then at the same time, you can't really tell because the world is so unnatural looking. So that's the irony of Tron, which I appreciate.
And Jeff Bridges' head.
Yes.
His head is a digital young sexy head.
Yeah.
Which I think is the future. Like, we'll be able to project a young sexy head over our old raisin-like heads, perhaps.
Probably, yeah. And Jeff Bridges is fantastic as both Clue and Flynn. There's the music by Daft Punk. That soundtrack I listen to at least every day.
At least 11000011 times a day.
Yes. My favourite song is actually Clue, just in case you were wondering. And overall, I really love the plot. I love the casting. It's just
okay,
it's so
there you
amazing.
go. And I understand.
So
Look, let's point out the digital neon elephant in the room. Not everybody loves this film. And that's why there's not a sequel straight away and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of people were kind of disappointed with this. If anything, it's going to get accused of being style over substance. But you are so in love with style, you're so stylish that, this is your unique perspective that you're coming from. And if people don't like that, they can just download themselves right out of here right now, as far as I'm concerned.
They can just go get de-rezzed.
I hope they get a virus.
And that's the thing is, and it will be abundantly clear in this review, is that style over substance isn't necessarily a bad thing. I think this is a beautiful film. It's like expecting a deep plot out of Fantasia.
Yeah, someone said to me about Batman v Superman, oh, I heard it's all style over substance. And I said, well, a movie about a superpowered alien fighting a man that dresses up as a bat isn't a bad candidate to be a movie that was style over substance. Because it's hard to milk too much substance out of that comic booky bullshit.
If you take it too seriously, I think that actually works against it. And those Batman, the Dark Knight Rises, Dark Knight struck the right balance. Dark Knight Rises, not so much.
No, it's basically Christian Bale trying to get out of a hole.
Yep.
Yeah.
For most of the film.
For a lot of the time. It's him stuck in a hole. Comic book action. Remember all those great comic books where Bruce Wayne was stuck in a hole?
I do.
They were my favourites as a kid.
But yeah, it's also worth mentioning that Tron did get a TV series, an animated series, Tron Uprising, which I liked. It was starting to get good towards the end of that season, but no, it was cancelled.
Well, if it was so good, why was it cancelled?
Well, Gravity Falls actually cancelled. Well, it ended. Okay, that's a bad example.
This sounds like some total tinfoil conspiracy, so I'm going to move on.
Maybe. Maybe. Do these studios actually know what they're doing?
Yeah, I think, well, Disney are pretty smart.
Yeah.
Disney are doing some pretty amazing things right now. So I'm definitely a Disney slave, a Disney apologist. I'm all up in their grill.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Both of us really love everything they're doing right
And I notice we're doing so much Disney on the show at the moment, but it's because Disney rules the world.
Well, yeah, because if you do Marvel and you do Star Wars, you're still technically doing Disney.
It's all Disney, all good.
What
all
does
the time.
Viacom do? What is a Viacom?
I don't know. What about Dick? Do you remember Dick?
D-I-C.
Yeah, one of those cartoons, and then this little kid laying in his bed and went, Dick.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, a little Dick hungry kid.
Should we talk about Tron?
Okay, I'm so glad you're able to do this because people don't know this. I'm always trying to find new people, and because it was Tron, I was going to try and get Miss Pac-Man in here because I'm a bit of a fan of waka waka waka, that sort of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of turns me on. Because, the bow and everything is pretty hot. Or I thought maybe we could get a Wreck-It Ralph or something like that in.
Yes.
And that all fell through.
Yeah.
Basically, I didn't have the right chords to connect it all up.
Yeah.
So this is fantastic.
Australia doesn't have the internet power to download someone like Wreck-It Ralph on.
Well, he's too big, isn't he?
That's a huge download,
That's the
and you got to
thing.
do it real fast. If you don't, they get derezzed. So yeah.
I couldn't get the shoulders through.
Yeah.
That was the problem. And the head just yelling at me.
Yeah.
Didn't like that. Wasn't going to do that at all. Now, full disclosure here. Mm-hmm. Every so often, I pull back the curtain and show our sausage making equipment. And I've not read this book.
Okay.
People know that. People know that only often because logistics. That's the thing. It's a weekly show. This was my week off. And look, this is what's special about me, dear listener, if you weren't already convinced that I was a special person.
Yes.
When I take a week off, you still get a show. So I took a week off in the sense that Jacinta read the BWB TV book and you did this.
Yes.
And I didn't read over it first. I didn't write notes or whatever. You're going to get my reactions absolutely fresh.
You can trust me. Yeah.
I do. I trust you. You're a grown man. You take me through this thing. I'm going to give you straight off the dome what I think. We've just been to a convention where I did another live comics reading. So I've had a couple of beers. I am ready to just upload all.
He did a very good job, by the way.
That was the first time you've seen the contents of one of my comics, right? Because they generally frighten you, make you uncomfortable.
The art style is very confronting. It's all very big, scary eyes. They're so angry. Why are they so angry?
I don't know. Something inside me. I'm like the Wolverine. All right, so who wrote this? Let's get on task.
This is written by Alice Alfonsi, if that is her real name.
That is a new one. We don't have a... I feel like any Fonz comes in, we should all be... Yay! When the Fonz enters.
The Fonz.
Alice Alfonsi.
But she's also known as Cleo Coyle, a.k.a. Rosemary Grace, a.k.a. Alice Kimberly. So, who can say?
Cleo Coyle sounds like a Monsters High doll.
It does, actually. So, she has written dozens of novelizations, such as That's So Raven.
If anybody sees a That's So Raven book, that is my number one hope for BWB TV. I want to find out what is So Raven, because at this point I've got no idea.
I think Jacinta has one, so
I don't know if she's got one yet. Maybe.
All right. And also a pun my brother and I still to this day make, That's So Raven, as well as Are You Calling Me a Liar? Ain't calling you a truther. Anyway, getting off track here.
As I said, we're pulling back the curtain. That was some Courtney family sausage machine right there.
That's gross. Don't say that again. Anyway, she's also written a Lizzie McGuire, which is WITCH as an acronym for who knows what. It's like a kids' fantasy show.
It stands for Why Is This Crap Here?
Yes. That actually worked quite well.
I tell you, off the dome, I'm good. I don't need to write notes.
And relates to your room quite well, actually. And she's also done some Star Wars junior novelizations, because everyone's written Star Wars at this point.
That's right.
Even I've written Star Wars, probably.
That's it. I was in the Star Wars. I'm in the cantina, sipping a drink.
Yes. So, let us begin.
Okay.
Should I read the first sentence?
Okay, yeah. I think... why not? Let's do that.
When Sam Flynn was a little boy, his dad, Kevin, told him a story every night before he went back to the office. Kevin didn't... Oh, we'll stop there.
Is Kevin really Jeff Bridges' character's name in
Kevin
the first
Flynn.
one?
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't look like a Kevin.
No, Flynn is what most people call him, which works better, I think.
Whatever you think of Jeff Bridges, like when I've watched Tron, and I don't think that original Tron is very watchable.
No,
but you just
I enjoyed it, but I know it's
start
not good.
watching it, and he like takes off his t-shirt to put on another t-shirt, and he's there, and I'm like as straight as they come, ladies, if you're curious. But that hairy man, he's a manly fucking man. He looks amazing back then.
It's just so beautiful.
So to
but so rugged.
call him Kevin is just like, that's crazy.
Okay.
Must have been to try and soften the edge so that people in the front row didn't get pregnant.
Yeah, that is... Yeah, well, okay, should we rename him something? Should Kevin be called something else then?
I like what? Like,
What's the manliest name?
Hank?
Hank is a pretty manly name. I'm trying to think... Brock
Brock
Flynn.
Flynn. Brock the Cock Flynn.
Yes, okay. So Kevin is now Brock Flynn.
Brock didn't work the night shift or anything.
He owned a software company, Encom, and he worked there a lot.
Sam loved his father's stories because they were always about Tron, the hero of the popular video game his dad had invented. I imagine that would wear thin eventually.
Yeah. The grid, the digital frontier, Brock would tell Sam. Adding quantum pairing, bio-digital teleportation, and foldment, and they have the power to change everything.
Hold up, Dad, Sam would think. I'm only 7. I actually think this was a great strategy because by quantum pairing, the kid was asleep every time.
Even though Sam wasn't quite old enough to understand everything his dad said, he loved the stories anyway and would try to follow along.
I imagined what it would look like inside the computer, Kevin would say to his son, because he didn't have a screwdriver, so he couldn't find out for himself. He had to just imagine it.
Yeah, imagine that scene in Zoolander where they're trying to smash the computer open to get the files out.
Some days he'd just look at those screws and be like, damn you! And he was imagining cake and rivers of chocolate and all this stuff. I kept dreaming of a world I thought I'd never... Then one day, he doesn't finish many sentences, this guy. I was dreaming of a world I thought I'd never... And then
yeah, no,
one
that
day.
is actually how it looks in the book. I had to double check.
Yeah.
But in the movie he says see, so...
Okay.
Maybe it's an error, I don't know. Then one day, I got in. Sam finished, always right on cue.
I got in, his dad would echo, into your mom, and then 9 months later, you were born.
Yeah. So in the original Tron, we were shown a world that was essentially the anthropomorphic personifications of features of computing. So you had programs that served real-world functions, like there was a guy called Crom, and he was an accounting program.
Oh, and there were all those guys that were walking around, like, showing off their floppy disks.
Yeah. Yeah, you remember this film very well. Now, in the new grid, in Tron Legacy, it's more like The Sims. It's a digital world.
That was people pissing themselves in the kitchen.
People setting babies on fire. But there's still all that, classic terminology, so people, the programs and all that. But I like the fact that they didn't try and retain the original idea, because that is very dated now.
Yes. I tried to forget the digital world, Brock informed his son.
But I couldn't let it go. I kept tinkering, and one day I got inside again.
I like it when you and I alternate sentences. So we just do that the whole time?
I think
like
we're really
last
good
time?
at this. Yeah.
Sam got excited. That part of the story was new.
It was my world, my creation, Brock said. But I needed help to build a new system, so I created a program that could think. Like me, like you. I named it Codified Likeness Utility, or CLUE for short. But then something unexpected happened. A miracle.
His father did not go on. Sam pleaded for him to stay home that night. Sam wanted to hear more of the story, but Brock shook his head.
I have to go, Sam, his dad said. We've got to see how the story ends, right? Wrong. Well, at least Sam won't know how that story ends for another 20 years. In typical Disney fashion, his mum died when he was just a baby, and she's just some random character who's not in the previous movie.
Her name was Bambi.
Yeah, probably. And now he is abandoned by his father, except not intentionally, although Sam doesn't know that. He grows into a rebel without a cause, with daddy issues, complete with a motorcycle and leather jacket. And once a year, on the anniversary of Brock's disappearance...
You went down the shop to get some smokes, eh?
Yeah. Oh man, how much better would it be if Sam Flynn was played by
Sam Wortho.
Oh
The
shit.
Australian Tron.
That'd be amazing.
I remember when I played it all over your mum's boobs.
So Sam's thing that he does once a year, he pranks Encom because of which he is the biggest shareholder. And
That's
this,
like shitting on your own birthday cake every
I
year,
don't
essentially.
get it. What's the point? Anyway, so this time he's breaking into the building with the assistance of an acquaintance because Sam. I should take that from the top again. So yeah, he's breaking into the building with the assistance of an acquaintance of
Yes.
Sam's because Sobel. God, I've done it again.
Well, that's all right. Look, I'm just trying to pass it all. Let's keep rolling.
Yeah, you're not going to edit this out, are
No,
you?
I'm not. I don't edit anymore. I've had too many beers.
Okay, this time he is breaking into the building with the assistance of an acquaintance of Sam's named Sobel, because apparently he's too angsty for friends. And this character is not in the film, nor was he ever cast, so he might just have been in the early version of the script, and we should be thankful for that, because listen to this.
So Sobel.
Sobel, yeah.
And it's a man.
Yes.
Have you got any casting preferences for this?
Well, I'm gonna read this, and you tell me.
Okay.
We take down the big guy up there, Sobel whispered. That is assassin cool. That is a rep, bro. Yeah, huge rep, Sam quietly replied, still working the keypad. But why are we always messing with the same guys? Sobel asked. I know they're master of the universe, corporate evil style, but I want to hit the other villains too. My game is too strong for just one enemy.
Aziz Ansari.
Yes. Yes. But yeah,
Be playing urban.
yes, it's clearly going for this very cliche, sassy, possibly black sidekick.
Because there aren't any black people in Tron, are there? They hadn't programmed them.
Not in the original one. There are a few background characters, and there's this one.
Background characters.
There are background characters. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, we'll trademark that. Background characters that. Oh no, one of them has a name,
Okay.
and that's it. Now, where were we?
He's from the Darknet. Courtney, don't laugh at that. That's
No.
awful.
Oh no. Anyway, so this Sobel's game is in fact not that strong because he later tears off down the street, worrying about being caught and getting in trouble with his stepmom.
Total Aziz.
Good riddance. I'm glad this film doesn't have that sassy sidekick that possibly demeans a minority group. It also really clashes with the tone of the rest of the film. I like that they kept it fairly straight and
Yeah, this is serious business.
It's serious business, guys.
This is a serious program.
Well, I think it's because Sam is a fairly bland character, although, it's not that bad. Okay, I'm getting off track.
He just wears a costume, really.
I mean, he's pretty much like all those other bland protagonists, but I think Garrett Hedlund does a pretty decent job of the role. Although I do find myself wondering what it would be like if Sam was played by a woman. I think that would make it slightly more interesting. Star Wars seems to have the right idea there.
Yeah, I think that's a good opportunity because people... If people aren't going to go and support movies that have female leads, then sort of putting them into existing structures that, people are already interested in
That is a good idea.
a pretty smart way to turn things around. So no matter how, upset people get about Ghostbusters or whatever, it's kind of a good way to just naturalize everything.
Did you say that bit of trivia about, I think it was these men's rights activists or whatever, Return of the Kings was the group, and they boycotted Star Wars because it has a female protagonist, and they boast that they cost Disney an estimated $42 million. Oh, I'm sure they're really missing it. I'm sure they're just struggling. It's like, trying to... It's a David and Goliath, except, David's an idiot.
Yeah.
Yes, going...
That's a thing. Look, that's one of those funny things, and I've said this before about Adam Baldwin, for example. It's very easy to get your blood boiling about ridiculous things that people say on the internet and offensive things or whatever, or people that even in
I don't have those
small
feelings
acquaintance circles and things where there's someone that's sort of trolling things and you get all angry. The easiest way to diffuse these things is to see those people in real life, because you just look and you go, oh, this is just such an impotent, this is nothing.
Yeah.
This person has no power. I kind of feel sorry for them.
Yeah, most people who send me shitty messages, I go onto their page and go, oh yeah, I'm not worried. I'm really
Yeah, like they're dealing with something else. This is coming from somewhere else. It's not, this isn't a person that's going to change the world.
No.
They don't even change their pants.
Oh dear. Anyway, so getting back to the plot, Sam's big prank is apparently just parachuting off the Encom tower. It's late at night, so no one's around. So, yeah.
Sam needs a hobby.
Yeah, he really does. So his parachute gets stuck on a street lamp and he's arrested. I really don't get the whole point of any of that.
You sure pranked them, Sam.
Oh, you are... Loki's jealous of you.
A god of mischief right here. A few hours later, everything was cleared up. While his dad might not be around, his name pulled a lot of weight. Uncuffed and released, and not much worse for wear, Sam left the police station and headed home. Home for Sam wasn't a nice single-story house in the suburbs or a huge mansion in a housing estate, which, by the way, he could easily afford. He was wicked rich, this guy. Sam Flynn lied when no one else did, next to a junkyard new to the city docks. This guy's a rebel.
So we get our first fast food reference 16 pages in.
Imagine you had so much money, you were a rich CEO.
So, walking in the front door, he heard a friendly bark. A furry dog, tail wagging, bound up to greet him. "Hey Marvin," Sam called, reaching into the takeaway bag. He tossed his dog a thick, hot burger.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Double, no mayo, just the way you like it.
Hey, double, no mayo, baby, just like where you like it. Like your thick hot burger.
Marvin barked thank you and began nibbling on the juicy meat. Now, he just gave a tiny Boston Terrier a burger the size of his whole goddamn body, and it's not even his birthday.
Thick hot burger nibbling on the juicy meat. This is not... Come on, Cleo Coyle. This is not a mistake.
So Sam was about to eat when he realizes Bruce Boxleitner is hiding in his apartment. What a creep.
Is that the original Tron?
Yeah, he is the original one. And I could have said his character's name, Alan Bradley, but I really love saying Bruce Boxleitner. Isn't it great to say?
Boxleitner.
Boxleitner. It's great. My mom's kind of in love
Hey,
with him.
baby, I'm gonna light up your box, because I'm Bruce Boxleitner.
So, Sam bolted upright in alarm. Then he saw the man's face. "Alan," he said with a release, "what are you doing in my apartment?" Alan shrugged. "Hey, you don't answer your phone." He smiled. "How you been, Sam?" Sam narrowed his eyes. Years ago, Alan had been his father's best friend. But after his father had escaped the digital world and focused back on the real world, he'd made Alan a partner at Encom. And when Brock disappeared, Alan had been the one to help raise the young orphan. Now Alan managed Sam's majority ownership of the corporation, and he tried to manage Sam too. So that's just exposition, just in case you're wondering.
Just in case you were having trouble getting to sleep as well, that they're the stakes here. Corporate stakes. Like, some people might be going, I just want to jump into the computer and throw around some discs, get on some light bikes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
No, let's talk about pranks. Let's talk about corporate structure.
This makes the story so stupid. I mean, it all works wonderfully visually, but when you start putting the story behind it, you're going, I mean, it's not wrong, but God, it's terrible.
I think if Sam was a girl,
yeah,
and this guy was like, well, you're not answering my calls, so I just turned up at your house to let myself in and admired your juicy burger, I think that would be a problem.
Well, I mean, it's the person he has raised since a child, so it's not as weird. Anyway, now, apparently Sam doesn't know that the grid is real, but as far as I can figure out, Alan does. I can't
Is
find
he
anything.
Tron? Is he Tron that came out and then got a job?
Okay, so I wish. So what happens in the original Tron is that the grid was basically the computers that belong to Encom. So if you had every person has a program that is the equivalent of them. So there's Alan Bradley in the real world, and his program in the system is Tron, who just happens to look like him.
Oh, so like the guy that made Frogger was a frog.
Whoa.
By that logic.
Yes.
Okay.
So, as far as I can tell, Alan at least kind of knows what the grid is. I don't know if he's ever been in it, but you think he would have told Sam about that after his dad just unexpectedly disappeared. No, let the kid think that he's been abandoned. Great.
Sam put down his burger and wiped his hands. Why are you here, Alan?
I promised you if I ever got any information about your dad, I would tell you first, Alan said. I got a page last night.
Still rocking the pager, Sam said, stifling a laugh. Pages were so old school. Good for you, he added.
I love that one. The page came from the arcade.
Sam shrugged. So,
that number has been disconnected for 20 years, Alan said, ever since your father vanished.
Sam froze.
2 nights before your father disappeared, he came to my house, Alan went on. Flynn said he'd cracked it. He was talking about genetic algorithms, quantum teleportation. Flynn said he was about to change everything. Science, medicine, religion. Alan locked eyes with Sam. He wouldn't have left that, Sam, and he wouldn't have left you.
Oh, so deadbeat dad might actually be a rad dad after all.
And why are you telling him now?
Yeah, I could have told you this before, but I was busy getting all these sweet, sweet pages.
So, Sam is convinced to visit the old arcade, but first, before he leaves...
For the very first time, Sam noticed something. What the? What the? He whispered, looking harder. The plastic face on the Tron figure looked just like the face of Alan Bradley. He only noticed this now?
Say no shit, Sam!
You just said this guy raised him.
Yes! You see this guy's face at least a few times a week.
It's like those people in movies that, I always complain about this, but they go, that person's from Game of Thrones. If you watch Game of Thrones, that shouldn't be a surprise because you've seen their face on a screen for like 6 seasons.
My father was the worst for that. And when Lost came out, he would say, is that the girl from Lost? Is that the girl from Lost? It's like, that's just another blonde woman, Dad.
So he's getting it wrong as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the arcade looked exactly like it did 20 years ago. Sam notices the Tron arcade game has groove marks underneath it, as if it had been moved very often, so sliding it open, he finds his father's secret lab.
Sam sat down in the chair. Suddenly the table in front lit up. Sam brushed away 2 decades of dust and discovered that it was actually a work table that controlled the computer surrounding him. Processors began to hum. Then the screen in the center of the table flashed a question. Tron Project Initiate Sequence Y/N.
Sam pondered the question for 2 whole seconds before pressing Y. Instantly, a brilliant blue blast of light washed over Sam. He cried.
It was a MIDI file.
Blinded by the flash.
Why you do this, Tron?
No, it's the Flash, apparently, that did.
Oh, yeah, the Flash was here.
Yeah. For a moment...
He's got a habit of just showing up in the middle of movies at the moment.
Yeah. Okay, so for a moment, there was nothing but the bright flash and the heavy sound of Sam's startled breathing. It was as if time had been suspended. Sam finally opened his eyes. Darkness. He blinked and rubbed his eyes, but it didn't help. All the lights in the room were shorted out, so he kept rubbing his eyes until he saw stars in his eyes, and then he saw lights.
I like it when people in a movie rub their eyes and then throw the alcohol bottle over their shoulder, because it's like, I must be drunk, because none of this could be real.
Yeah, I always think of the Aristocats, where the guy is drinking wine, the cats run past doing whatever they were doing, and he's like, yep, nope, done.
Yeah, he's like, what? I can't believe his own eyes, this Sam Flynn.
So, Sam stumbles outside, and even with his excellent powers of deduction, he notices something different.
The night air felt different now. Wet, foggy, cooler. Maybe the jump off the Encom tower had rattled his brain. Shaking his head, Sam walked over to the streetlight where he'd parked his motorcycle. It was gone. What? He glanced around to realise the missing bike wasn't the only strange occurrence. Lots of things were different now. Clouds, stars, even the moon had disappeared. The sky above looked as black as outer space. Suddenly, a crackling flash of lightning rippled across the firmament. Heat lightning again, he thought? But the weather seemed too cool for that, and since when was lightning blue? Sam's heart was now pumping hard enough to drown out the strange electronic buzzing that was assaulting his ears. He wouldn't wrap his head around it. Nothing was as it should be. Even the buildings looked different. Blank walls without any windows or doors. That's when the blinding spotlight pinned him. The police again? This has to be a new record, he said out loud. I love it when people say what they're thinking out loud. This book's a piece of shit. But this was no helicopter. Looking up, Sam's eyes nearly popped out of his head and his jaw dropped. What is this, Son of the Mask?
It's ridiculous.
Is he Cuba Pete all of a sudden? Hovering over him was a U-shaped recognizer from the Tron game. The digital construct was blue, black in colour with orange piping. I'm inside, Sam realised with shock. I'm in Dad's digital world.
No shit, Sam. But I do like the description of the grid. That's why I included it. I thought that was pretty
It's not much of a description of the grid. When I think of the grid and what it looks like, that description didn't really...
Yeah, no, it's trying to find the best in this book. And, yeah, no, it's adequate. There's
Like,
bits of
it makes it sound like it's only subtly different from our world, but it's crazy different.
Yeah, the moment you walk out, that's the thing in the film. He walks out, he's like, holy shit, it's not this slow trying to figure where... He sounds like a total dumbass.
This is more like Biff's Casino world.
Yes, that's the best example. So, you know, I watch a lot of science fiction, and I find that post-Blade Runner, a lot of movies in the genre are referencing it in some way. And it's kind of a shame, because for all the technology we have, you either get, you know, identical Blade Runner worlds, or Thor 2, which showed us many worlds, all of which were bleak and barren landscapes.
Just slightly different colours.
Just slightly different, yeah, the different filters. And the original film was made at a time, I think I mentioned this before, that, yeah, computer animation was still in its infancy. So,
most of it was shot in a school gym.
Yeah, it's a lot of cheating.
A lot of cardboard.
But yeah, so what I like about the new grid is that it's evolving. There's natural elements coming into this unnatural world. You've got the sea of simulation, you've got rain and rocky mountain terrain. It's really cool. I like
all these great things from this great game.
Yes.
That's the thing. If it's got action figures and his dad told him about it every day, you'd think he would recognise it straight away.
Yeah, I mean, you know, surrounded by your Star Wars action figures, if you found yourself on Bespin or Hoth or something, you'd be like, I know where I am.
I wouldn't be like, oh, it kind of looks like home, but you know, I would know.
Yeah, so...
There's a lot of Ugnaughts around.
Damn, there's a lot of Ugnaughts in this area. We should move.
They're filthy.
Yeah.
Can't keep their hands to themselves.
So, yeah, Sam is not this dumb in the movie, or at least as far as we can tell. We don't know what's going on inside his head, but according to Cleo Coyle, absolutely nothing. Anyway, Sam's quickly picked up a recognizer, and because he lacks an identity disc, he is considered a stray program and thrown into gladiatorial-style games. If you've seen the film, you know how much of a spectacle this is, the scope and scale of the arena. Plus, there's this beautiful scene of Sam being suited up by these two perfect sirens. It's amazing.
They're dreamy.
I love that sequence. They look like programs. They really don't look human. Anyway, so Sam actually does well in the arena despite having no idea what he's doing, because protagonist powers. He soon catches the attention of the leader of the grid.
There were no great sexy descriptions of the sirens or anything?
Sadly, no.
No, is this hot moment?
No, I looked, I wanted to, although, you know, there will be descriptions of Quora.
Oh, okay,
So
yeah.
we'll
hang out for that, alright?
Yes.
Yep, steady on, easy tiger. We'll get there. You know, I was watching Downton Abbey.
Yes.
The first season.
Yes.
And the new valet they hired, it was an Ugnaught.
Oh.
And everybody was pretty grossed out.
It's pretty diverse casting, though. That's
I know, but, like, can you trust him with your fancy snuff boxes?
It's true.
No, I don't think so.
So, oh yeah, okay, I'll let you read that. I'm doing all the talking now.
With his attention trained on Sam, the leader shifted two black balls in his gloved hand. I didn't know Samuel L. Jackson was in this.
No, yeah.
Jarvis noted the move. The single innocent signal triggered the entry of a deadly new contestant. Rinsler has entered the arena, the announcer informed the crowd. As cheers went up, Sam watched the sleek, black-armoured Rinsler enter. The face of this warrior program was completely hidden behind a dark visor. He threw his disc, and it instantly transformed into two metal weapons. Come on, Sam shouted. Is that even legal?
If we've learned anything from the Phantom Menace, it's that doubling the weaponry that your villain has makes him cooler.
I know, that's a shame that George Lucas didn't keep making Star Wars movies, because we would have had just lightsabers branching out off other lightsabers, branching out off other lightsabers.
Because, yeah, you had the double-edged lightsaber, and then you had General Grievous, who had 4 goddamn lightsabers.
Yeah, so 8 was the only logical way to go from there.
There was going to be an octopus villain.
But that's the thing, like, Abrams split the difference. When you had 2, you had 4, we're going to do 3.
Yeah, 3 in 1 actually.
Yeah.
So if Kylo was dual wielding, then that would have actually met the minimum criteria for doubling the weaponry.
Well, it would have been 6.
Yes. So, well, not doubling, adding to that number.
He would have raised the stakes, because I think if you increase the amount of weapons, you increase the emotional stakes.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
That's just a formula.
Yeah.
Any screenwriter will tell you that.
Yeah, like Michael Bay will definitely tell you.
He'll tell you a lot of things.
So Sam gets his ass handed to him by Rinsler, because Rinsler is a badass.
Sam cried out as Rinsler's boots crushed his forearms. You put them on your feet, you dickhead. And one of the discs sliced his skin. PNT was helpless as Rinsler raised a disc for the killing blow. Hope his disc doesn't get floppy at the last moment.
Yeah, it's always the worst.
Just then, a drop of blood oozed from the wound in Sam's arm. The globule leaked through a crack in his armor. Bleeding like mercury, the single drop hung in the air for a moment before dripping, then bursting like a scarlet balloon. Seeing the blood, Rinsler froze mid-strike. Confused, he lifted his visor-covered face towards the rectifier overhead. In answer, a voice boomed out.
Identify yourself, program. The electronic voice was not the announcer's. It was Councillor Jarvis who'd spoken. I'm not a program, Sam called in reply.
Another voice spoke, one that sounded oddly familiar to Sam. This is your leader, the man said. Identify yourself.
My name is Sam Flynn.
The crowd began to murmur.
Up in the rectifier, the leader turned to Jarvis. This was interesting. Very interesting.
Up in the right. Got me right up in the rectifier.
This is actually the most notes I think we've ever done for an episode, because there's so much to actually explain for it to even make sense. And the way it's been written...
It's Inside Out all over again.
Yeah.
But it's a computer instead of a brain.
Yeah, when we have these high concept movies, you can't just go, oh, well, here are our characters, here's the world, because you won't know what's going on. Even if you've seen the film, just to talk about it, you gotta word it in a certain way.
Yeah, because there's a lot of leaps of faith here. Like, they think he's a rogue program.
Yes.
So rather than just putting him in the old recycle bin, they make him play games.
Do you think there's a recycling bin?
Well, yeah, why not just put him in the recycling bin?
Yeah.
Like, what if it was a pop-up ad? Or something like that?
Yeah. Yeah, no, they definitely need one, yeah.
It should have referenced more internet stuff. Like, where was, like, Ceiling Cat and all that other stuff just popping up, and Long Cat, and all these,
Their currency is based on rare pepes.
Yeah, where was all the, like, crazy meme stuff that just kept popping in and interrupting everything?
Oh, no, they wanted to do that, but they had that Emojis movie planned even back in 2010.
True.
So they weren't really allowed to do that.
Why spoil it?
Yeah, they were crossing over the territory.
Well, fucking Sony, I tell you what. Pizza's popular. Let's make Pizza the movie. Everyone will go and see that.
Oh... They're also doing an Angry Birds film, so, you know, we're all going to hell. So, Sam is brought to the rectifier, and he believes that he is meeting his father, but soon realizes that this is Clue.
And how can he be flesh and blood inside a computer?
This is something I will bring this up a lot. We'll get to that.
Alright.
So, Clue challenges him to a light cycle race. Now, as far as I can figure, this is perhaps to test Sam or to further prove to the programs that Clue is more powerful than the deified users. Either way, Sam does well in the race. Out of all the contestants, it's down to Clue and Sam until this buggy-type vehicle called the Light Runner enters the arena. Sam gets into the light runner, despite not knowing who the helmeted driver is.
She might have been wearing a helmet, but she had a rockin' bod.
That's true, like, look down, dude.
Yeah.
Just looking at the face, can't figure it out. He is an idiot. So they're pursued for a while until the light cycles can go no further as they draw power from the plasma lines that run all through the grid. Which begs the question, just how big is this world? Because beyond the grid, does that just go on forever?
Could be procedurally generated, like Minecraft.
So, like, way out there's probably a whole other city we don't even know about. And the light runner is able to go off-road, and we're introduced to the driver.
Do you think we are already on the grid? And when we go on holiday or something like that overseas, we're essentially purchasing an expansion pack?
Yeah, and you gotta pay for it. You gotta pay a lot for it.
So you gotta pay a couple of grand because you're getting the downloadable content.
Do you ever have those moments where you realize just how big the planet is? Or how big the universe is? It's pretty trippy.
It's pretty big, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am sober right now.
I'm Cora. Sam blinked, surprised by the raven-haired beauty who was looking at him. Oh, not what I expected, he thought, but who am I to complain? There, I'd like to see her bits and bites. I'd like to slip a floppy in her slot.
Got any more? Or is that...
I'd like her to drive my disc.
So Quora, honestly, she might be the best character in this movie, and I love her. She is just adorable. She has this really fantastic design, but she's also a fascinating character. So she's a member of the mysterious self-created race called the ISOs, isomorphic algorithms, which, by the way, is actually a real mathematical term. I have nothing further to say about that. So she's in equal measures this naive, childlike being and a warrior. And anyway, so she takes Sam to this secret hideaway, and she has someone that she would like him to meet.
And she's got 3 USB slots. We have a guest, Cora said. The man stretched out his long legs. His feet were bare. Sam thought he saw a beard under the unruly grey streaked hair. You either see a beard or you don't. I don't think there's a lot of confusion there.
I think he's seeing it from the back is what I'm understanding from that.
A back beard.
Yeah.
There are no guests, Cora, the suddenly familiar voice replied. Then the figure rose and faced Sam. Kevin/Brock Flynn.
And
of course he's got a beard if it's Brock Flynn.
yeah, oh, he's so manly.
How can he have a beard? And wasn't Tron like a pixely bullshit game?
It was a pretty pixely bullshit game. Now, Hot Toys did make a doll action figure of Brock Flynn.
They did, and they made Sam Flynn, but they did
But didn't
not
make
make Cora.
You're echoing my thoughts, exactly. I would definitely have a Quora, and she's not done any other films that would really demand a head sculpt, so I can't even make my own Quora dolls.
Plus, I'd plug my mouse into her. Oh, you wouldn't say. I just use one of the slots at the back. Yeah.
So that's pretty much it. That's that scene. It moves on to the next chapter, but this scene is definitely much more powerful in the movie. It's this emotional reunion that honestly feels authentic, and I guess that's down to the casting as well. So Kevin Flynn is supposedly 1,000 years old, as time is far more compressed in the grid. 1 year equals 50 cycles.
Light cycles?
No, that's a different thing. Let's not confuse terms here. And I'm going to geek out for a minute, but I love the idea that basically the only limit is the speed at which electrons move through the circuitry. But that makes me wonder, why would you age in a digital world at all? And would he return to his 1980s self if he left? I mean, I get the more practical and even dramatic reasons that an aged Brock Flynn works, but yeah, I think about those things of, well, did you program that to be the case, that you can't die but you would slowly age? I don't know.
To see, he must have blood.
Well, they bleed. That's why I included that paragraph as well, is so you bleed on the grid. So would you be... Yeah, you could die, technically. I don't know.
It could be deleted.
Well, you wouldn't de-res. You would literally just be decapitated and that would be the end of you. And there would just be this corpse there and no one knows what it... Would you decay in the grid? There's no bacteria.
Yeah.
I am really over... I could think about this all day.
Okay, let's do a 24-hour podcast so we just think about this.
And related to that, Kevin and Sam and Quora have dinner. Why is there food on the grid? Where does it come from? Do you just materialize that? Does it sustain you? Has it got calories? How does that work?
It comes from the Burger Time game.
Yeah, yeah, they sleep as well. Why do you need to sleep? If you could be in a digital world, I'm not sleeping.
My computer can go to sleep.
That's true, but that's like the outer thing, but the inside things, they're not...
It goes to sleep.
Maybe the things inside your computer are asleep. Now, I'm not saying these are necessarily plot holes, but honestly, I really love speculating about all of this. So, backstory time.
So what happened, Sam asked. Clue happened, Kevin said with a frown. It was Colonel Mustard in the drawing room.
Yes.
With the candlestick.
Yes.
What I saw as a miracle, Clue saw as a virus, an imperfection. Clue took over, staged a coup.
Kevin Brock's frown deepened. Clue tried to... And my autocorrect has made it C-L-U-E. I'm very upset now. So Clue tried to have me de-res, but Tron helped me escape.
What happened to Tron? Sam asked.
The Blackguard captured him that day, Kevin said sadly. I think Clue destroyed him, but whatever the case, I never saw Tron again. I fled the city, to this safe house I had secretly constructed in the mountains. I saw the light of the city go dark as the portal closed. Brock turned away from his memories of that terrible time. Sam, I tried to come home, Brock explained, his voice earnest, but the portal shut on me. As a fail-safe, I'd set the door to open only from the outside, and only for a limited time. During the chaos after Clue's takeover, it closed. That was the last time I ever saw you. That is a dumb and plot-convenient fail-safe.
This film has too many rules.
It's got so many rules, I'm trying to explain them as fast as I can.
I'm like an anarchist, and I'm just like, there's too many rules here, too many things that I have to wrap my head around. I just want bikes, light bikes.
Yeah, let's just get to the fucking light bikes.
They've already passed, already been.
So, Kevin continues to explain that Clue committed genocide against the ISOs, leaving only Quora. The portal's now open again because Sam came through and he's eager to get back to it and escape, but that is exactly what Clue wants, to lead Brock out into the open and obtain his identity disc, allow him to enter the real world, which means...
Game over for our world, Brock said. Clue doesn't dig imperfection. He's been in the digital world so long, he's still using old slang. And he's been playing Dig Dug, probably.
And he's turned into the dude, basically.
He is the dude. That was the thing. He really was the dude.
He wasn't playing Brock Flynn anymore.
No, he's playing Dude Flynn.
No.
Now let's call him Dude Flynn.
Dude Flynn, I'm okay with that. So, I think that's a cool idea of, the Tron characters coming into the real world, but, I digress. Kevin's plan...
Yeah, I'm going to download Olivia Wilde right now.
So, the dude's plan is to essentially do nothing.
Love it!
But Sam wants to escape, and he and Alan can sort this situation out from the outside. This is probably the only intelligent thing he does in the whole film. Sam goes behind the dude's back and consults Quora. She suggests visiting a program named Zeus. Sam takes the old light cycle back to the grid and wanders around the old city. Now, this is particularly different from the film. It describes it as the slums, basically, which doesn't make any sense following their whole line about imperfection. Is there even an economy in the grid?
I can imagine, maybe an area would be a little bit glitchy.
Yeah, glitches.
Yeah, like that Assassin's Creed game where everybody's face disappeared and you could see just their eyeballs and teeth.
Oh, yeah, that would be rad. Or it's Vanellope from Wreck-It Ralph. So, yeah, why are there poor people? Do they even have an economy? Is it an economy on rare pace?
Maybe it's like some sort of Farmville kind of economy. People buying microtransactions and stuff.
Because why do programs need to be incentivized? They're programmed to do... Anyway, thankfully, none of this is canon. So Sam runs into one of the sirens from the arena, Gem. Again, no real description of her.
It's truly outrageous.
She is truly, truly outrageous.
That's all you need to know.
She takes him to the End of Line Club to meet Zeus. But in order to do so, he must go through another program called Castor.
Now, is this Michael Sheen?
This is Michael Bloody Sheen.
Yeah, I hated this character.
Oh, you wait.
He's like fucking Chris Tucker in Fifth Element.
He's in another movie.
Just comes in and does something that I don't want to see right now.
Exit stage right, even.
Snagglepuss.
Oh, he is Snagglepuss.
I would download a Snagglepuss.
Yeah, he's way cooler. So, I really don't know why they bothered with this whole alter ego, and especially because I knew Zeus and Castor were one person, because Zeus, it's spelt differently. Anyway.
It's all Yoda bullshit.
Anyway, because...
Just say who you are.
Zeus in Greek mythology, it goes by that name. Also, Jove, if you ever wondered where the phrase by Jove came from.
Haven't.
Well, there you go.
Probably won't.
Yep. So Zeus is described as something somewhat different from the film.
So this has just reminded me. Did the book have that whole dumb subplot with the Scarecrow guy with Cillian Murphy as the...
No, none of that.
Oh, thank goodness.
I like that there's Cillian Murphy in the movie, though.
But that subplot didn't go anywhere.
That was intended to be in the sequel. He was going to go into the grid, so he's going to be the bad guy, and Cillian Murphy would have been a major character in a movie for once. Oh, wait, no, he was in a major character 28 Days Later, but that's pretty much it, really.
Bully for him. Back to Zeus. He wore a formal tailcoat and a top hat. He spun a cane in his left hand. His hair was white, his face the same pale colour, and his clothes a startling white as well. He was like no program Sam had ever seen. No program I'd ever download.
I can find no concept art of
That's
this.
like, do you know like Virtua Girl, stuff like that? Have you heard of that kind of thing?
Yeah.
It's sort of like an early internet thing, that idea that you would get a sort of stripper girl that would appear on your desktop. She'd climb up over your icons.
Well, now they're doing VR versions of that.
Yeah,
so-
what about, like, this guy would have been a fancy man, Virtua Fancy Man, and you're like, I don't think this website I'm looking at is fancy enough, and you press a button and this little top hat comes as poking out and he starts waving his cane around and he's like, are you ready to get fancy? I'm a fancy man, and he, like, tap dances in the corner of your screen. That'd be hot.
Oh, man, I like Michael Sheen, but if you don't rein him in, when you get a Michael Sheen, that comes with a lot of responsibility as a director. Now, if you want a Michael Sheen in your movie, you gotta tell him, this is how much. Not this at 11. No, we just want about like a 5, okay?
Get a newspaper on your way to work that day and roll it up and just hit him with it if he goes too far.
Yeah, but not on the makeup, though, because that's...
No.
So, I can find no concept art of this version, although concept art, definitely worth looking at. The programs were originally going to have these even more inhuman looks with featureless white faces and only their eyes visible. I thought that was really cool. I have no idea how they do that, but... So, Michael Sheen apparently was the one who suggested that David Bowie-inspired look, and yeah, as I said, he is really incongruous here. I like him, but no, please no, Michael. I'm glad you didn't last that long in this film. So, meanwhile, Clue has made it to Kevin's safe house somehow. I don't know. They said that the vehicles can't operate in the Outlands, but does that include flying vehicles? How does Clue suddenly know about this place? Did the old light cycle leave one of those light trails behind it and didn't fade, so they just followed it here? I don't care, honestly. This scene is really cool.
Maybe it was a gingerbread cycle.
Oh, right.
And it left some crumbs.
But yeah, this scene is really cool visually. So in the book itself, not much to describe here, but the film, there's such gravity to it. It's the creation and the home of his creator. Clue is almost reverent to Brock's belongings before he snaps.
The dude's belongings. He's the dude now.
So he swipes the chessboard off the table. And I think Clue is a compelling villain, and the story, it kind of has that Paradise Lost thing going on, so I have a weakness for that. He's only doing what he was programmed to do, and yet he failed his creator, or his creator failed him.
Frankenstein, bitches!
Oh, love that shit. So, back at the end of Lion Club, Sam is betrayed by Zeus, and the Black Guards show up. Alphonse is sure to mention Daft Punk wherever possible, so that's good, yeah. So a fight ensues, ending with Sam being rescued by Quorra and Kevin, except Quorra has her arm severed off. She's still alive but conscious, so Kevin and Sam carry Quorra, head to the Solar Sailor, and make their way to the portal. Once on board, Kevin repairs Quorra.
You know who else had a Solar Sailor?
I don't know.
Count Dooku.
Oh, yeah!
And how did that work out? Not very well.
It looked really cool, though.
Come on, Disney. The sailor, entered a mammoth cave in the face of the mountainside. The cargo bay was plunged into the darkness. Sam stared as sheer rock walls slid past the window. Then he heard Quorra gasp. In the darkness, the cargo containers began to glow and Sam could make out their contents. The containers were packed with programs, thousands of them, frozen. These are digital copies of the movie Frozen.
Oh, right.
That they're shipping. And he doesn't want to let them go. Locked inside some sort of electronic trance.
Which just sounds like a genre of music.
I love electronic trance. They were stacked one on top of the other. What is this? Quorra asked.
Clue can't create programs, the dude explained. He can only destroy or repurpose them. Repurposing them, as we see, into a massive army which he is addressing in a speech. The best part is Sam's reaction to the speech.
Sam exchanged a horrified glance with his father. Rid the new system of its user, Sam thought. But users are humans! Clue wants to rid the world of people. Then
oh my god!
Who's going to play all this Fruit Ninja?
They really do. She really does make him seem like a total idiot. So, Rinsler is taking Quorra captive as well as Kevin's disc. Sam goes to retrieve his disc, not the other way around. Although one time, Shazam Dick, you remember that?
Shazam Dick?
Yeah, I messaged Luke saying we were doing the episode Shazam, and I said, "Oh, have you sent me the Shazam doc?" It should have said. but no, it was DIC. So,
Dick. Like that kid in
Dick.
bed again.
yeah.
Holy shit, I'm just realizing, looking at the notes, what is happening here. And Disney...
Yep. Oh, yeah. So, I'll say this. So, Sam goes to retrieve both Quora and the disc. Another fight ensues because this is a Disney book. The story stops abruptly before the third act.
Oh, this is bullshit right here. Listen to this. The sharp edge of Kevin's disc struck Rinsler square in the chest. Pieces of his thick armour broke off and de-rezzed. Rinsler howled as the force sent him backward over the bridge rail. Sam put up his hand, snagging his father's boomeranging disc in midair. Then he sheathed it beside his own, and went to Quora. She threw her arms around Sam and squeezed him tightly. "Thank you," she whispered. "Let's go," Sam said, pulling away and snatching some familiar equip 000111 meant for 0000 oh 110101001000 01110010101100. I was very prescient about this, wasn't I? N0E1RB10YR0A0C0K 010010101010101011001111 system error. Fatal error. To reboot and recover lost data, use your smartphone to scan or take a picture of the code. A secret website will be revealed to you. Go there if you dare. And then the book ends with a QR code.
Yep.
That's fucking bad.
Yes, so that link, I followed it. It's now dead, but the site has been archived, and there are 3 more chapters to be found there, but because it is not contained within the book itself, I am not legally obliged to review it.
That is crazy. That's some dirty deeds, Disney. And then there's an ad here for the Tron Evolution video game.
It was alright. It was my dad actually bought that for me.
They want to just keep milking money out of you. And then that is it.
Yeah.
That's rough. And this book was $12.99 originally here in Australia as well.
50% off, so...
That's true. This was on bargain.
But it's a shame because I really did have things to say about the third act. I think there's some great things at the end there, but oh well.
You fake a fatal error and make you go to a QR code.
Can I do that with my essays?
That is insane. Yeah. Yeah. Like, imagine that. We're just doing a show and then it's suddenly, I go 00110. Sorry, guys. Fatal error. Fuck yous. Jamaji.
Oh my god, we're under an hour. I can't believe...
I know. We could do that. I know. It just felt like we were getting started with the story and then it ends. No wonder people don't like this film because I feel like, as beautiful as it looks, it is actively alienating the audience. At least this book is certainly actively alienating the audience.
Oh, the book definitely is. I think the film is just this beautiful sensory visual experience, and when you try and put a plot to it, kind of doesn't work. It's like, putting a plot to Fantasia or the Thriller music video.
Sucker Punch.
Could you imagine a novelization of the Thriller music video?
Yeah, after 164 episodes, I kind of feel like I could.
Oh shit, that could have been our next April Fool's episode and we can't do it.
I'll write it.
Alright, so...
Well, I got to ask you the question then, if that was the end as it was the book better? We know it wasn't.
Fuck no!
So, now there are some Amazon reviews.
Yes. Oh, there's some fun ones.
Oh, and some good... You went on to Goodreads.
Goodreads.
That is off the grid.
Oh, prepare thyself.
Alright, can I read these without reading them before?
Yeah.
The only problem I have is that the book ended before the end of the story. What happened to the last 20% of the story? The book ended with Sam getting his dad's disc back. Then nothing. It was supposed to be the book of the film. But the film did not end there. We'll never buy from Amazon again. Yeah, Amazon. What are you going to do about this?
Amazon has actually been ripping out the final few chapters, replacing it with a QR code.
Because it makes it cheaper to post.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you think, I'm getting savings. But if you're an Amazon Prime member, what they're actually doing is tearing the endings out.
Fuckers.
So it weighs less. Mm-hmm. That's rough. What a scam. I'm not going to buy from Amazon ever again either.
This Goodreads one.
Okay, Goodreads.
And you know what? It was worse than a know-it-all geek. A geek who actually doesn't know anything, but acts like they do. Listen to this dickhead.
Is this all the same dickhead?
This is one dickhead.
Okay, here we go. This is the only adaptation of Alphonse's I have read, and based on her other books, is likely to remain the only one. Oh, so not willing to have some Raven? The only problem I have with Alphonse's contribution to the Tron universe is that when she veers from the movie, inserting her own touch, she pounds it in. For example, with Castor's top hat and tails, which is utterly ridiculous in such a world. This isn't Alice in Wonderland. This is a dark technological world that doesn't have time for such silly touches. The way Michael Sheen played Castor fit easily into this world. Alphonse's descriptions do not, especially not the way she describes the destruction of the End of Lion Club, which seems needlessly complicated, but it was handled with much more simply in the movie. That's not to say that Alphonse should have parroted the movie line by line, description by description, but some things just don't fit. Ask my husband. However, there are instances, such as with Bartik the Anarchist. We missed that guy.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about him, but we didn't have time.
What about Bartik the Anarchist, who tie-dyes his clothes?
Yes.
In which he adds more layers, more depth to this world. There is that, and while it doesn't come often, just like my husband, it and other little touches, such as her getting the voice of Kevin Flynn and by extension Jeff Bridges down so well, makes it a pleasurable read. And there's
the
a
only
good
pleasure I get.
Yes. There's a good laugh to be had at the end of the novel. In order to read the final chapters, you have to go to the website address provided. The way it's handled is an insightful commentary on how we're doing more and more on computers, and it's only going to increase. Maybe one day, at the rate we're going, there will actually be a grid. We're not that far off.
Oh my god. First of all, they obviously don't know how novelizations work, because she's just going straight from the script she was given. Sure, that script is not what we see in the film for the most part.
They didn't go, hey, just do what you want with Castor.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess they did, but they didn't go like, this is our Castor, do what you want. They went, do what you want, because we don't know what the fuck we're doing.
And Bartik the Anarchist is in the film. He's the only black guy in the movie that gets a significant part. He's got a scar on his face. He plays a bigger role in the expanded universe stuff, the comics, the video games, the cartoons, what have you. And he is seen talking to Castor before Sam Flynn starts talking to him. So, you fuckwit, it's in the movie if you pay attention.
Yeah, he goes, I'm going for a piss.
Yeah.
And then he leaves.
He's like, oh, the gate is open. It's a sign that we must rebel. And that's Tron Uprising, basically.
Well, there you go. God, what a weird one.
That was fun, actually, and I had to really edit a lot out, because I could honestly have talked about this for 5 hours.
Oh, I've got the recording space, let's just do it.
It bothers me when people really do podcasts that go there. Unless you're Dan Carlin. You can do that shit, but no one else. You're not allowed.
You're saying I'm no Dan Carlin.
That dude is he's just... How do you talk for 5 hours and be compelling? I don't know, that guy is... Anyway, our podcast is better, obviously, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Objectively.
Objectively better.
Yeah. Alright, well, let us know what you thought of this whole program. What's your favourite program? Mine's Friends. So tell us what you thought, and we'll discuss that on the Facebook page. You can find all this stuff by going to fruitlesspursuits.com. There are links to all our nonsense, including Book Was Better and FPcast, which is a movie review and general pop culture news show. You'll find links to our Facebook discussion pages, iTunes, like, review, rate, Patreon, where you can get special extra content like the Book Was Better TV episode that came out last week about Dawson's Creek. That was a very fun one. I definitely recommend you listen to that. That was very fun and funny. Thank you so much, Courtney, for sharing this insight into
the grid,
the digital world.
Yes.
It makes me feel like maybe I should find out, stop being such a square reading books and find out what's happening on the old computers more often.
That is the irony, that this was a book about computers.
I really want to see them do a sequel, which is where the grid is very heavily influenced by the internet.
I non-ironically want to see a sequel.
And where Bodie McBoatface is in it.
Oh, God. Oh, the world is going to hell. No, the world was always going to hell. It's just that we're living in this time now, so it seems worse by comparison. By the way, My favourite program is Photoshop, so it makes it look like I'm better at drawing than I actually am.
Yeah, Photoshop. That's a good one.
Yeah, it's a good practical one. Sensible.
Yeah. I like, Photoshop.
Yeah, we have both unanimously decided Photoshop is the best program.
And Crossy Road.
Oh yeah.
Alright. Well, thanks everybody for listening and
Catch you on the flips.
Grid Manji.